In a way, the story of gun violence feels like the American story right now because it is so present for us. I would venture, this may seem bold, that all Americans have been touched by it.
I do know a lot of people affected by gun violence. Myself, father was shot and killed when I was 9. He was a teacher by day, owned a bar by night. Very hardworking man, very well educated. He didn't serve somebody that came in the bar that he thought just had too much to drink. And the person took it offensively, waited till he closed the bar, came back and shot him in the head. My sister was affected, my mother was affected. It affected everything, my whole life, financially, mentally, everything.
The United States is, I won't say almost alone, but is certainly an outlier in a global community in our devotion to guns.
We're not talking about hunters. That's not the problem. The problem is that you have a lot of cheap handguns and a lot of high capacity weapons falling into the hands of people who are using them to wreak destruction and havoc all throughout the country. Right? There's no reason a civilian should have a military-style, assault weapon. I don't care what somebody says. Well, we need it for hunting. You don't need it for hunting. Give me a break. All right? I don't think it's a question of freedom. It's a question of common sense to have less guns in society.
John Kilbride, Police Chief, Falmouth, Maine, United States. You never see your successes because that's just information that's not available. An unwanted gun that was pointed at your officer and he was put into a deadly force situation, or a youngster had access to a firearm and had an accidental discharge and lost their life. I've got 15, 20 firearms to the right of me. That's not going to be in circulation. That's not going to be potentially stolen from a house, potentially used in a threatening manner. That's a good thing. I'll never see what those 15 firearms could have done or would have done, but I know that potentially what they could have done. So that's where our success is.
This once was a really nice gun.
What's it going to be now?
That's a great question. Pieces. It'll be pieces.
Working and partnering with Humanian Metal will allow us to continue with take-back programs that we have done in the past, where we open up our facility once a year for people to come in and drop their unwanted firearms off. For me to take an excess amount of firearms that need to be destroyed and to think something positive will come about that and turn it into something exciting as this, we're looking forward to that partnership.
We dare to dream of a violence-free America. What are your hopes for the future?
That people aren't dying every single day from gun violence.
A lot of my hopes hang on my children, and not just my children, but the world I hope they'll be in. When I imagine what I want for them, I want them to be in a world that is safe and kind and accepting and clean and not getting warmer. But it seems to me that the lack of violence is a first start, because it's hard for people to come together and live happily together when they're afraid.
That nobody have to ever deal with what I went through, and 52 years old, still going through it. That's all.